Hello guys, welcome to Train Parrot. Today I have prepared a selection of altcoins based on your requests. We got XRP, Quant, XX, then we got Alv and Solforge Fusion, followed by Pith, Nier, and Arbitrum. We got 3 requests. If you wonder how you can get these custom requests, all you need to do is in one of the videos hit the join button. For this month, any of the tiers allows you to make those requests, but starting from January, we will require the priority TP answers. Basically, I want to make sure that we get a good balance of questions and we don't get 100 coins in every video. So for now, December, you can do any, but most likely in January and February, we're going to have to require the second or the third tier, depending on how many people are asking the questions. Let me know what you think about that and we'll see how it goes. Also, if you like this idea. Let's start with Quantum. Let's look at it from the weekly time frame. And as you can see, as soon as we start November, we started with an impulsive move. We managed to close above 148, which is quite a heavy resistance that we haven't been able to break since early 2023. We tried twice, once in December again, and then in March, and we are currently this week breaking back below it. It is not confirmed, but today is Sunday, so there's only half a day to recover above 148 and claim that new level as support. So far, it is a resistance. Interestingly, the last time I did TA on Quantum, we were talking on the 4-hour at this breakdown. This starts from 28th of November and the breakdown was on the 5th of December. You can see how we put a low and then a lower high, then another lower low, another lower high. So clearly it's been in a channel down. So I got good news for you on Quantum. Although we are breaking below this level of resistance of $148, there is still a chance that we might attempt to break above that once again. And that clue comes from this potential level of resistance. You can see that we hit it at the top, then followed by this level on the 7th of December. We have been far from it, but I'm expecting eventually this formation in here to maybe in the following days to do a breakout from around a level of 50. Of course, that is not guaranteed. That is just something that we do very often in price action. But if we put a new low and we continue bleeding in this way, as long as we do it below the trend line, there is no action to take. But eventually, one of these breakouts, whether it's here or there, could be the sign that we are looking for to hit that resistance and finally claim it. You can see that at the moment, the volume weighted moving average on the daily is holding the price right there. On the daily, we also had a breakdown. You can see it's on its way towards the median at 47. If you want a more conservative attempt to break in continuation, you could also wait for the daily to break above 68 on the RSI. That means waiting for the price to go to 162. But I think the problem with that is that it's still a lower low and it's a bearish divergence on the daily. So another alternative is to use this support for DCAing back into Quantum, because it's very difficult really to precisely by the millimeter know how low it could go for a reaccumulation, assuming that either you already sold or you're planning to enter on Quantum. And those levels are right where we are at 133, followed by 120, more or less $100 and $86. But the lower we go, obviously, the less likely we're gonna get there. I think if this rally was to continue and it bounced right from that low of 120, which already did, and assuming we don't need to go there, but we bounce from 133, then the golden pocket is located at 310. So from this point to there, you get 132% and a more conservative target of 100% at $268. Let's go with XRP. My previous analysis was very clear. What I wanted to see on XRP is that we bounce from $2. I sold at 2.8 and I've been looking at this from the sidelines because I'm really not very keen on rebuying XRP. There is something personal, not necessarily that I don't like the fundamentals, because I really don't care about them. So far, taking off my hat of hate against this type of coins, it's holding the $2, which is the high of the previous cycle. It seems that the bulls are stepping in, making this retracement look like nothing relative to the previous retracements that we used to have in previous cycles. Notice that none of these sell-offs that you have in here have any large wick big to the downside with big intentions of rebuying it. This one is pretty significant, which supports that idea. After the breakout global on the weekly, you can see that the retracement from 91 to 84 is very small. I will have expected at least to come back to 68 to retest, given that this is XRP, and I'm not even talking about the support that comes from this line, which XRP in the past days will have been perfectly capable of going back to 56 after this rally. That is typical of this area in here. Very high, but then a lower low. Very high, and then a lower low. That is the XRP I know. This kind of movement in here leaves me thinking of whether this is just a short-term trap, assuming XRP remains the same tricky coin as in the past, or XRP has finally moved on and it won't necessarily repeat those large sells off from the past. Let's look at lower time frames. Before we do that, on the weekly you can see that this is the highest the cross-fee ratio has been ever for XRP. The top was at 10.9 and at the moment is at 15.5, which is just crazy. Interestingly, the pump came right after no one was talking about XRP. You can see in all this period, in the whole history, you've never seen Lunar Crash socials so low as the day that the pump started. Coincidence? I don't know. I don't think so. Let's look and see at what the 4-hour is doing for those of you interested in swing trading. 4-hour had a breakout on Wednesday 11. It's been retesting until Friday 13 and finally put a high on Saturday. These lines, I'm gonna remove them because they belong to a different time frame. So far, the 4-hour breakout doesn't seem that healthy. Indeed, it's putting here a breakdown at the moment. I'm assuming that traders are probably trading this, which they might consider at the moment as a breakout. But you can see that the RSI is kind of saying, well, we lost it. Very similar to what we saw earlier in my video with the analysis of Bitcoin, which on the 4-hour now is above the loss level. So it's kind of saying that this was a fake out. I don't know if it's confirmed this candle by now, but if Bitcoin manages to close that 4-hour RSI above 63, I will expect that maybe XRP will follow up with that and maybe also call this move just a fake out, continuing with a new high. And in that case, this daily breakout could become still a valid one. I think it's worth mentioning that 2.6 and 2.8 again are going to be tough levels to break above, just because the 2.8 send us back down 33% and the 2.6 26, so both levels now become the next resistance. Support is at $2. We talk about that. That also stands for the 4-hour. Let's go with XX, which I never heard about this coin. Let's see, when was it listed? This was listed on bear market, and since the day it got listed at 0.6, it moved back down to 0.02. So this has had a drawdown in the bear market of 97%. So meet this coin for what it is. In favor of the coin, many coins that were listed in the bear market just did that. We will have to see now what they really can do in the bull market. So I'm gonna take this rally that happened in March and use it to understand what can we get now in the middle of a supposedly altcoin season. The golden pocket talks about 56 cents, which is less than the closing price of 60 cents, but that is a rally of 700% to the upside. I'm assuming that this is a low cap because the volume is 194k only, not even $1 million. Let's look at the RSI. It made a high at 79 and it broke out in September, and this rally seems to be healthier than what we were seeing with XRP. You can see that it's just putting higher highs and higher lows. It exit from the golden ratio on 14th of October and is halfway to the red. Let's do support and resistance. We got this immediate resistance at 0.8, followed by 12, 15.7, 21, and 28. Those are the levels of resistance. Let me explain why. 28 is more or less where we held the price all the bear market in there before we enter into the disaster area. Then it became resistance in March 2023. It was support at the peak, but it got broken, and after that we got another disaster. This time the disaster was 88% down. So whatever you do with this coin, make sure that you take profits unless you enjoy seeing drawdowns of 80 to 90%. If we manage to break 80, we can talk about 11 cents and 15 cents. Let's look at the RSI on lower time frames. Not much to say on the 4-hour. There is currently a breakdown, so that will give some short-term moves down. I guess it's just following Bitcoin at the moment in the 4-hour. On the daily, it's just all over the place. It's very difficult to say anything apart from maybe we are building some sort of support in here, but this is more or less like an epileptic kind of RSI. It'd be impossible to do a global breakout from here. We are just oscillating in there. Know that this channel on the daily is giving you great entries of support and resistance if you are into swing trading, but really it's not telling us anything about a breakout currently happening or anything. Let's go with Arbitrum. On the weekly, we already had the breakout somewhere in the middle of the year. We are in the most expansive area of the RSI. We left the upside with small movement and the bullish divergences period. We left the cross-V ratio in green as well. Let's do some support and resistance. We are clearly facing resistance at 1.2 that has been previously holding the price right before this pump. So it's an interesting area if we can overcome 1.2. I'm talking about, can we repeat the rally to $2 or even go beyond that? Well, I guess that comes to whether we are gonna hold the 0.7, which is actually 0.781 that held the price here in 2023. And let's zoom in a little bit. That listing day is really annoying because it's squashing all the chart. So we got those levels. We also have this one in here, which is currently holding the price. Let's put it more correct. So I tried to not cross bodies of candles, and I can accept that wick there. That body is below that line, and then some wicks, and then some bodies resting above my support. Then we got resistance that is 97.9, and at the moment is holding the price. Let's see how that looks on the 4 hour. There is a battle going on to hold that price at the moment, and most likely traders are looking for this pattern, which is kind of a symmetrical triangle, and they're looking for a breakout above $1 to go into the 1.2 once again. On the RSI, that becomes a lot more tradable if we place on the 4 hour a line like this and we look up for a breakout above an RSI of 48. You can see that the longs have been liquidated in this area, so they are mostly shorts at the moment at 39. So if you want to take a more of a degen trade, you could potentially use this as support and hit that 48, but careful, we are on a weekend, and careful with what Bitcoin does, because Arbitrum won't have its own direction. It will probably follow what Bitcoin says. Solforge Fusion, SFG, never heard about that. I'm not even sure I'm doing TA of the right thing. This is S Finance. I'm gonna search once more, but if I cannot find it, I'm gonna have to skip it. I don't think it's listed at the moment on TradingView and crypto, so I'm gonna skip it and go with Pith. Let's go to the weekly. So it has reached already the top of the cross-V ratio. So it has had already a huge rally. On the 4 hour, we can do a little bit of cheating in here to see where is the next support. Probably is right there where we had the volume weighted moving average. We already pinched 38 and we bounce off. So let's see where is support and resistance. And I will say in here because it held those bodies and that rejected the price at 55 cents. I'm gonna use this low to the top to the bottom of August and look at the expansion, $1.7. That gives us almost 300% to the upside. On the 4 hour, do we have anything tradable? I don't think so. On the daily, this channel has already broken down. Let's remove the previous lines so you can see it. This broke down there and it's kind of retesting the move down. That's on the daily. And you can see that this was climbing very nicely, but with this intense move there and then retest at that point, it's starting to look a little bit weak on the daily. Definitely that 55 cents has been a strong rejection, but luckily 38 cents is coming at the rescue. Let's hope that this thing is gonna revert. Unfortunately, on the 4 hour, I cannot really see much. And if I force it, I will get something like this, which is not very good quality for a breakout. I guess I can do a local breakout and remove the global. But since the slope is so flat, I like when I get a slope like this and touches coming down of the momentum and then a breakout, but not like this. So I think for trading and entering on this coin, I will wait a little bit more for clarification. Otherwise, this will definitely look like a rejection that could come back down to 38 for another retest and maybe not necessarily holding it. Things change if we can break above 47 cents, which has also been support and resistance. At the moment, that is the immediate resistance, not 55. 55 comes after reclaiming 47. Let's go quickly with Nier. We did TA recently. We talked about the targets of $16 and $13 thanks to this projection of the Fibonacci level. We also talk about $7.7 being a strong resistance. During this week, it's still a resistance and now an engulfing candle. We are on Sunday, so that needs to close ideally slightly above to stop being an engulfing candle. Otherwise, we need to start focusing on where is the support for a potential rejection. And that comes at $6.2, 5.1 and 4.2. Let's see what happened to the RSI. So RSI has been using 42 on the weekly as support for 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We cannot really say anything about where is the support from RSI. We can still mention that 5.4 is where the volume weighted moving average is, coinciding with the 5.2 more or less. Let's go to the 4 hour. We're doing something very similar with Nier. You can see that it was holding this trend line and then it turned it into resistance. From the top to that level, we need to get to above an RSI of 59 on the daily. Sorry, this is the 8 hour. Let's go into the daily. I don't know what am I doing on the 8 hour. So the daily broke down on the 7th of December, and now we can be looking for this resistance. So this is more tradable, I think. So from the top, we can see the next point is there at 70, and now at the moment we are facing the resistance at an RSI of 50. We went to the median. So whether we see another rejection and then we break out from there or from here, I will prefer from lower to get a higher quality breakout, but pay attention if we get a breakout earlier. So I'm noticing some similarities between Pith network and Arbitrum. So Arbitrum is right now below the 1.2 and Pith network below 55, but they are kind of mimicking each other. So I wonder if they have similar fundamentals or if they share something. But ideally, Arbitrum wants to close above $1 and not to produce a red engulfing candle. And the same apply to Pith and Nier. Arbitrum has a tradable trend line in here. You can see from the top at 76, it has touched 57 and at the moment is putting higher lows, approaching the resistance. You can see it in there producing a squeeze. So breaking above 50 on the RSI 4 hour could be in anticipation of reclaiming $1 and possibly going to 1.2. I think I already reviewed it because I had a duplicate from 2 different requests. That's why it was sounding familiar. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy all these altcoins. Remember, if you want another video like this, you can become member and wait until I post another request like this in the community. To find the community, you go to the Train Parrot channel in YouTube and hit the tab community. If you join using this button, join, which you can find in any video, and then browse the community, you're gonna find the posts that are members only, where I ask which coins you want me to review, and you can also leave me questions on those posts as well, and I'll keep an eye for them as well. Guys, if you want to trade altcoins, my first choice will be probably Bybit, because they have so many altcoins, perpetuals, and different tools. If you open a new account on Bybit using the link in the description, you can claim up to 30,000 in rewards and get the lowest fees to trade as well. But if you don't want to be needing to use KYC, you can pick between TooBit and my Blofin Exchange as well. Those 2 links offer great bonuses and discounts fees. I will say try first with Blofin and see if it's asking you to use VPN. There are very few exceptional places at the moment where that's the case. People are saying I actually needed to use VPN, but it's rare. If that applies to you, then you can go for TooBit and claim your 9K bonus. So obviously, when you try, do not deposit, just give it a try and see what it says. It takes just 5 minutes to open an account on Blofin and TooBit, and whichever doesn't require VPN, voila, that's the one you can use. Just make sure you use the links in the description to claim those bonuses and discounts. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.